Hello friends, welcome back. I'm absolutely wearing the same outfit you saw last week because this is what my life has come to, so please leave me alone. Thanks. So apparently people really like story times, and I promise I'm not just like out here like trying to talk bad about Disney and Disney guests all the time, but my videos that happen to do really well are ones where I'm complaining, so I'm back again today with another video like that. So I preface this by saying this isn't the worst day ever. That's probably something, what the title will be, something along those lines. But my worst day ever actually working for Disney is a different video that's already blown up. I'll leave it up there, but you've probably seen it. That was the wildest day of my life working in Magic Kingdom. This is gonna be my wildest day at my actual home location as a cast member compared to those sad Magic Kingdom shifts. So, hi, if you're new to the channel, my name's Lauren, Lowe, whatever. People just called me the Canadian for 3 months last year and I replied to it. I'm not picky. I did work for Disney last summer. I was a main entrance attractions cast member at Disney's Typhoon Lagoon. So that is one of the water parks. That is what today's video will be about, but I also have a whole bunch of other videos about working at Typhoon, Disney in general, my program in general, and then working at Magic Kingdom. Did a little bit of that as well. And then in about a week and a half, I will be going back to work at, not Typhoon because they don't really have characters, but back to work for Disney. I'll know my park, you'll know next Tuesday probably, as a character attendant. So feel free to follow along, feel free to subscribe before I hop into this. I do a lot of Disney stuff. I'm here like twice a week, sometimes 3 times a week. Sometimes 4, I don't know, depends on my mood. Now I'm just gonna actually get to the point and talk about the wildest night working at Disney's Typhoon Lagoon myself personally. So to start this off, I feel like I need to give a little bit of information. If you ever worked for Disney, or even just being around the park, you might have heard the phrase 101. Cast members will say it a lot. 101 essentially means that something's down. So if someone gets off the wrong side of a ride, the ride can go 101 because it needs to like recycle through. If someone drops something on Haunted Mansion can go 101 because they need to clean something up. Or a lot of the times you'll see things like Test Track or like outdoor rides when it rains, and when there's storms they'll go 101 because they can't work in the rain, or they're like lightning risk, things like that. So while the water parks were nice because we weren't as busy and we had shorter hours and all this stuff, we were also literally only offering water as our main attraction. So if, I don't know how electricity works, but pretty much when there's lightning around you can't go in the water. And it's in Florida, which is like almost kind of in hurricane season, at least when I was working there all summer. So we went 101 a lot. Our kind of breakdown is, I believe, is if a lightning strike was within 5-mile radius of the park, we would go 101. So no one was in the water when it actually struck. We had time to get people out. But like I said, living in Florida, Florida has a lot of rain and storms and lightning all the time. So we went 101 a lot. They did have things in place for this, so usually if you were in the park for less than 4 hours and you went 101, they could issue a rain check. That happened to my family when they visited last year. So they have things in place because they're prepared for this, but this takes place on a day that was a little bit different because it wasn't just like a regular park day for Typhoon. So they started doing these last year, and apparently they're bringing them back, which like they failed miserably last year, so like why Disney, but whatever. And those are the Typhoon Lagoon H2O Glow night parties, which are essentially a separate ticketed event that are similar to like an after hours event at Magic Kingdom or like another theme park, but it was a Typhoon where normally all the rides aren't open after dark. Even like later in the day, if it gets darker, they'll close like the roller coaster type ones, like the more intense rides. This one, all the rides were open. They had meet and greets with the Toy Story characters. They had like a big blow up Rex up there. They played music. It was essentially like a dance party, and it was an after hours event that had a separate ticketed price. I don't remember exactly how much it was, but it was expensive considering nothing was included. Where like Magic Kingdom, if you go to their after hours events, they're like $100 and something. You get popcorn and ice cream and drinks and everything's open and things like that. We had no free food, no free anything, essentially just the meet and greets and the rides. And I want to say it was somewhere around like $80, so it wasn't cheap. And most of these nights were totally fine. I worked a lot of the parties because I needed more staff, so I would work a parking shift in the morning and then I would get pulled up to work main entrance to do like wristbands and greeting and things like that, and then I would work till like 11 at night, sometimes midnight, things like that, to help wrap everything up. But this day around, it must have been around 3 because that's when I usually started up front, it started pouring. And the parties work the same way as like a Halloween party. You get early entrance, then you can stay in the park, but the party doesn't really start till like 8, I think, and I think you could come in at like 6, but it was like pouring. We were 101 for hours, everyone was leaving, and we were like, this is not gonna be good if this gets rained out, or like lightninged out, I guess technically. People started coming in, and like I was saying, on a park day you would get a rain check to come back another day that year, which is also a fun tip. If you ever get rained out at one of the water parks, definitely ask. They'll usually give you a rain check ticket if you haven't been in there for more than 4 hours and you have a whole year to use it, which is a very long time. Because it wasn't a regular park day, they couldn't really do that as much because the tickets were like a set number, if that makes sense. So I think people also don't think about that, you know, like their automatic response is just like to be angry. Later on in the night, we told people to like come on in, start going. If you were at the party for an hour, then we would figure something out. So people had to be in the park physically for an hour before we could do something for them, like essentially. Also, keep in mind that the water parks don't have guest relations. So we had grapes, which are guest relations at front entrance. So those will be the people in plaid that you'll see with iPads behind the main entrance cast members. But those people are mostly there if someone's biometric isn't working, if they have the wrong ticket type. They can tell without going and waiting in line at guest relations. But at a theme park, if something's really not going properly or they need to upgrade their ticket, they just send you to guest relations at that theme park. We didn't have that. We had Typhoon main entrance cast members in ticket booths that essentially worked as guest relations without getting like the notoriety or pay of a guest relations cast member. And we only had really 2 functioning booths that we used, and only 1 that late at night. So when it started raining like crazy and people were angry, they were like, there's no guest relations. Do I need to go to Disney Springs? Can I go to my resort to get something happen? Do I need to wait in this 60-person lineup when there's 2 ticketing windows open? So that was kind of the start of our downfall. The leaders were really, really great about this. Our leader at the time was actually a Hollywood Studios guest relations cast member who was promoted to leader, so he was really good about it. But I have never felt so like overwhelmed just by the amount of people around me. So everyone had to wait an hour. About an hour into the party, it was still pouring rain. We were still 101. It was a huge mess. We were just like sitting up front waiting for the figurative storm to hit that came with this literal storm. And after an hour, they pretty much announced that the party was rained out and it was too bad and to figure it out. And my job at this point was pretty much to stand under an umbrella in the rain and try to explain people what was happening. So their automatic kind of like bounce back was if you had been in the park for that full hour and you hadn't been able to go anything, everything was 101, your party ticket would automatically convert into a 1-day water park hopper ticket, which theoretically is a really good deal because the water park hopper tickets were a greater value than the party tickets. But if you were someone who was already a water park annual pass holder, which there's a lot of local Florida people that do that, or an annual pass holder that has like the really fancy top tier pass that already includes the water park, you wouldn't need that. Or if you were like leaving the next day, you also wouldn't need that. So we still had a lot of upset guests, even though Disney, in their mind, I'm sure was like, this'll fix everything. We're technically giving something that's more expensive than what they paid. Doesn't really work in reality all the time. So just, if you've never been to Typhoon, there's like 6 main entrance spots. We're pretty small, and then there's 2 umbrellas. So we were at those umbrellas and everyone was exiting, no one else was coming into the park. And then it walks, I don't even know how to describe this. You walk in and then you walk up like a big windy trail. You can't see the park from walking in. It's similar to Animal Kingdom that way. So we were standing there waiting and we literally could just see like hundreds of people all coming down at once to yell at us. And I understand the frustration. I would also be mad, but like I said, I've never been like so physically overwhelmed with just the amount of human beings around me and like the negative energy that came with it, because I am not that kind of person. I am very chill. I'm very relaxed. We don't like screaming, yelling. I don't do that. Drama, no thank you. People were just so mad. And like I said, I understand it is a very frustrating situation to be in. I would not be happy if I spent like $90 on a ticket and then I was leaving the next day and I couldn't get anything. But it was just, I felt like I was doing the job of a guest relations cast member, but well, in a parking costume. But like I said, they initially were like, all your tickets will turn into water park hopper tickets, which, as I said, doesn't work for everyone. So then it got to a point where they were like, well, can I just get another party ticket? Because the parties weren't selling out. Like I said, they didn't do very well last year, so I don't know why they're coming back. So people were like, can I just sign up for another night? I'm local, I'm already a Florida water park annual pass holder, so they just want another thing. And then we were like, okay, well, you can talk to, like, essentially our guest relations are ticketing people, which, like I said, are not guest relations, they're just poor Typhoon cast, and they can see what other days are available. This worked really well for like 3.5 minutes until, as I mentioned, there was only 2 windows open and like 50 people at them, and that's when people started to get really mad because people were like, I just want a refund. And like, spoiler alert, Disney doesn't like doing refunds, so we were trying to offer anything else, so like the water park hopper, another park date, a Disney gift card in return. But the problem with all of those things, besides the automatic bounce back that Disney had, is people had to go talk to someone about it, and we didn't have those people. So it shifted from us being stressed because we knew people were going to be mad, to us being yelled at for their tickets not working, to us being yelled at because they didn't want to stand in a line. And I have like the clearest memory of 2 people that must have been in their late 20s, early 30s, like not too much older than me, just yelling at me about how they were water park annual pass holders and they were Florida residents and they don't need this ticket and they want their money back, and they don't understand why I can't go grab their money for them because it's ridiculous that they waited this long and they have to go stand in a line now, and they don't understand why they need to do this. And I was just sitting there being like, I don't know how to work the computers. Like, I can't take your My Disney experience and delete it off there and then just hand you $90. Like, I don't know what they thought I could do. There's only so many computers, you know? So I distinctly remember that, and there was like so many parents again that were like, my kid's been in the rain for a whole hour and they couldn't even go in there, and I don't understand why you can't just let them go in the water. That was another thing we got all the time. People were like, I don't see any lighting in the area. I don't know why my kid can't just go in the water. And I'm like, ma'am, I can guarantee you that Disney's weather people know more than your physical eyes. And I'm nervous that the Disney weather people are more concerned about your child's safety than yourself. There's no real like specific guests that were automatically terrible to me this day. It was mostly just the entire overwhelming feeling, but it was just standing there being bombarded with human beings, and they were all trying to get under the umbrella. So I was also like, everyone's in my personal bubble, please stop, thank you. But it was just so many people asking the same thing over and over and being so angry about it and not having solutions, which is very rare. I feel like Disney almost always has solutions, and we technically did, but there wasn't a solution to them not waiting in line. And then at one point they were like, send people to Disney Springs, but don't send them to the resort. The resorts can't do anything. And then people just wanted to go home. It was like disorganized, which is wild because Disney is like almost always so organized. I was not ready. Just the environment. Picture standing in like a small bathroom with 30 people and they're all yelling at you about something that you can't fix. That's the sensation. I do have another video where I talk about working at Typhoon and working at the water parks. I'll leave it up there. Most of my experience was amazing. Like I said, my leaders were awesome. They were very, very good at handling things. I don't think, as messy as that night was, I don't think it would have went as smoothly as it did without the leaders that we had there. And I'm so thankful to the other cast. I feel so bad for the poor cast that were working those ticket booths. They deserve a Medal of Honor for putting up with that night. And in the end, everything did work out. There was a lot of people that were mad. There was people that were yelling and screaming and saying that Disney should refund them twice as much money back, which, like, huh? At the end of the day, everything was sorted with. I was just like so just thinking about it makes me anxious. You know that feeling? I just want to like curl up and die thinking about it. This is like my last bad negative story, I believe, but I wanted to give you something from working in my specific location. I feel like I talk all the time about how great the water parks are, and there is things that go bad, and the fact that we were 101 so often because it's always storming in Florida was like bad. If you are working there, a little something to watch out for. You go 101 a lot. And if you're watching this as a guest, please be nice to cast members, because at that point I was getting yelled at and I could do absolutely nothing for you, I promise. So that's my little story there. As I mentioned before, feel free to subscribe. I will be back in Disney World and I'll be working at a way more insane role, so I'll probably have plenty more stories coming up about that. As always, all my links to everything else are down below. I'm on Instagram way more often than I'm on here, so you can hit me up down there, and I will see you guys in a couple days for another video. Bye!